As if I'm just not busy enough. I know, it's crazy. Every Friday night, I host a special hour of the Kim Komando Show for WLS in Chicago. It's the latest tech news, tips, and of course, conversations with all great callers. Now, if you like what you hear, you can get this hour as part of the Kim Komando Show podcast. On Team Apple, just go to Apple Podcasts and search for Kim Komando Show. Team Android, you can listen as part of the Komando community. You want to sign up at community.komando.com. Now, enjoy the show. $500,000. Oh my gosh, that's right. For that amount of money, you could be one of 6 people to enjoy suborbital travel. That's over 100,000 feet above Earth. I don't think I could do that, to go have dinner. Company by the name of Space VIP, a space tourism company. They got together with a Michelin star chef, a guy by the name of Rasmus Monk, and they crafted this menu for a 6-hour journey above Earth via spaceship Neptune. Okay. This is not really a spaceship. Well, I guess it is. It's a hydrogen-filled space balloon. And then you're going to eat as you watch sunrise over the Earth's curvature. Okay, that would be really amazing. Yes, but $500,000, wow. I just hope the restaurant has a great atmosphere. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. On that happy note, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. So thrilled that you're here with me. It's wonderful. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And of course, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. And you can get us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free over at komando.com. And by the way, you can also get the show as a commercial-free podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Just go ahead and search for Komando, of course, with a K, wherever you get your podcasts. And that's right. Our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And if you're just too shy to come on a big-time show and podcast, I get that. You can always drop me your questions over at komando.com. There's a link that says Email Kim. Already, every single day, I go to at least 35 or 40 different websites to make sure we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech verse. And here are the top 5 things you need to know what's happening right now. And we're going to go back to 1994. That's when automakers first began equipping all cars and trucks with that so-called black box. We were told that it would only collect accident and engine performance data. Well, 30 years later, it's a whole different story. It was just a matter of time before the car manufacturers realized how much money they could make by selling the data in the car's black box. So instead of recording only accident and performance data, today's cars are equipped with something called EDRs. Yes, EDRs, event data recorders. And they keep track of just about everything. It knows when you're speeding, hard braking, rapidly accelerating. It automatically and wirelessly reports everything to data brokers like LexisNexis. And this data is turned into your driving risk score that is sold to your insurance company, which is then going to use this to what? Oh, you're so smart. Raise your rates. So you might be saying, oh, Kim Komando, this is an invasion of my privacy. It is, but it's not illegal. Moving on to number 2, which AI chatbot is the best? I wrote about this for USA Today and the New York Post, as I put them to the test: ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, and Perplexity. And I asked 3 to write a note excusing me for my Aunt Sarah's party. And then I also asked them to write a pitch for my new theoretical business. And also, what about a hike? So Gemini won the dinner party with the most thoughtful note, recognizing the effort and love that my Aunt Sarah put into the event. Now, ChatGPT won the business pitch with the most imaginative quotes about the product and all its great benefits. Now, for the hike, ChatGPT laid out all the trails, told me about the history and the best times to go. Now, keep in mind, none of my requests required any medical, legal, or in-depth technical know-how. For that, I don't trust any of them. Moving on to number 3, EVs. We just don't want them. So guess what? The government is starting to crack down. The government has decided that we have no other choice and force is necessary. The Biden administration is ready to go with new, harsher and auto emission standards. So for the next 3 years, to help stimulate an ailing EV economy, Washington is going to relax emission standards just a little bit. But by 2027, the push is going to hit hard, really hard. Only 30% of all vehicle sales can be gasoline powered. Now, let me tell you something. If they really want us to buy EVs, they have to make them better. That has to have a longer range. We need to have actual recharging stations where we want them and need them. So if the automakers know that within 36 months, this is my point, we're going to be forced to buy an EV anyway, they have no incentive to make any changes. So we're just going to lose all around. This coming in at number 4, what qualifies as high-speed broadband? ISPs are doing their best to sell the most expensive high-speed broadband access plan to everyone. So it's the question, how fast does it have to be to actually be high speed? So there was a time not too long ago when a 25 megabit line, that was fast, but not anymore. For the first time in 9 years, the FCC's annual high-speed internet assessment has revisited the speed issue. Guess what they say? You don't have a high-speed internet connection unless you're getting at least 100 megabit downloads and at least 20 megabits uploading. But really, think about this. 1 gigabit lines are now routinely available to so many homes. I'm surprised that the FCC considers 100 megabits fast, really. So bottom line here, always get the fastest line that you can afford. And finally, this coming in at number 5, ready or not, planning for summer vacation time is here. But there's one destination that we're just not going to be choosing anymore. You ready for it? Airbnb and Vrbo. They're just done. And they really only have themselves to blame. I mean, we're just kind of fed up. We're done with all the stories about the creepy hosts, the hidden spy cameras, inaccurate descriptions, terrible Wi-Fi, dirty places. So to show you how Airbnb shot itself in the foot, only now, are to believe that they're banning indoor cams on properties after years and millions of complaints. Hotels are back bid time. Now, the losers here are not only Airbnb and Vrbo investors and shareholders, but so many people counted on rental income from a second home to just last forever without giving any thought to what was really happening in the real estate marketplace and with Airbnb and Vrbo. So what this means to you is that if you have some extra cash laying around, you might be able to pick up a rental property at a really sweet deal. So you might just want to keep that in mind. You know, speaking of, my friend used to run a hotel, but now he runs an Airbnb. And I asked him if, changes and what's going on has given him any new challenges. And he said, no, Kim, it's entirely in keeping. Oh, yeah, I heard you growing with that. All right, coming up, we have some great calls that you don't want to miss. We're going to talk about how to blur your home on Google Maps and what's going on with the birds and your apps and phones. It's really kind of a fun story. And then really, on the important side, how to know the best voice commands for in times of emergencies. And of course, you got me. You never want to miss. I'm your buddy. I'm your pal. I'm Kim Commando.
You love podcasts, the stories, the laughs, the unexpected turns. But when this episode ends, the silence starts. Not anymore. Audiobooks.com turns that silence into your next great adventure. With over 450,000 titles, from bestsellers to hidden gems, your love for listening just found its new best friend. And because you already know the joy of audio, we're giving you 3 free audiobooks to start your journey. Imagine your favorite podcast, now with unlimited episodes. That's audiobooks.com. Keep the story going. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcast free today. Because for podcast lovers like you, the end of an episode is just the beginning. That's audiobooks.com/podcast FREE.
Hey, I'm super excited to tell you that I'm giving away a $500 gift card. Yes, I want to give you $500. I do. I want to give you $500. So you're sitting there saying, hey, Kim Commando, I'd like $500. How do I get $500? Well, you go to this special site, winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com. Go there, winfromkim.com. And that's where you can enter to win a $500 Amazon gift card. I know. So think of everything that you could buy with that. $500. I'm just going to give it to you. All right. So I know you're saying okay, what's the catch? Okay. The catch is this. You have to get at least one issue of my free newsletter. That's it. Just get one issue. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. It's easy to sign up. It's easier to unsubscribe. And so what you want to do is go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, let's see who's up first. How about Jessica in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? Hi there, Jessica.
So I just wanted to say thanks for taking my call. And my mom and I are big fans, and we get your newsletter every day. And we love all the information that you give everybody out there. So thank you.
Thank you.
But so what I called about was I have been getting these scam emails, and they're kind of concerning to me because I've gotten, I think 3 or 4 of them so far, and I actually just got one the other day. And I like to check all of my emails, and I go through them, and of course, a lot of them's junk, and I don't even open them, and I just delete. Well, these kind of got my attention because they all sort of started the same, like, and they said greetings, and I was just like, I know these are scam emails, but I want to read them anyway and see what they say.
Sure.
And maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't click any of the links or anything on them, but I did open them. So basically, all of the emails say almost the same thing, and they just say that there's some hacking group called APT, and that they have gained access to like all of my devices that I've been logged into my email on. Like they've logged into my email, and whatever devices I've been using, they have access to those. And then this person said on all of them, all those emails said that they purchased email accounts, including mine, and that's how they got access to log into my email and everything. And this last email said, and the other emails didn't mention this, but this last email did. So I wanted to ask you about this. It said something called the Cobalt Strike Beacon.
I don't know what it is. What are they saying?
They're just basically saying that they have downloaded all of my information, all of my data and everything, videos, social media, chat history, everything like that, and put this virus in. And
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
The thing that I'm mostly concerned about, I guess, is that they say that, and this is not true. It says that I go to these adult websites, and they have videos of me on these adult websites or something, and that they're going to send them.
You know what?
To everybody.
Jessica, it's all extortion. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, because they're going to ask you for a couple of $100 or however much it is in Bitcoin, and
Bitcoin. Yes.
Okay. And so, because otherwise they're going to release all these naked picture videos of you, because that's what you do every night. And then you're going to get all embarrassed in front of your family members and friends unless you pay.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the deal. Okay. They're playing the odds. Okay. Because, there's a lot of people who hang out on the porn sites. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Not me.
So when they're hanging out on the porn sites, they figure, okay, if we send this out to millions of people, there's probably going to be a good percentage back who's going to say, oh, crap. Ooh, that's going to be bad. I'll send you the money. I mean, what's $500? And they're not going to send it. Okay. So, is it a bad thing that you looked at the email as long as you didn't click anything? But I will tell you, by you opening the email, just opening that email, there's a secret beacon inside that email that just went back to those people. It said, oh, this is a good email address. This is a valid email address. So we're gonna put her on a list. So we're gonna sell her email address to somebody else because we authenticated that email address. So now you're gonna get even more of this garbage. So I know it's tempting to look. I know it is. Okay. But you're better off just like, all right, you know what? I don't need to look. I got more important things to do, right? Yeah. I mean, so if it's in the junk folder, odds are it's a pretty good sign. It used to be, years ago, you'd want to check your junk folder because, maybe you were missing something. But today, the spam filters are so good that it's not like really legitimate mail is going to end up in the spam filter with a high percentage anymore. It just doesn't really happen. So, Jessica, just go on and move forward and then just delete all that spam and junk, and you don't need to look at it. And then, my advice is too, like if somebody really wants to get a hold of you, if it's that important, okay, they're not just going to email you. They're going to text and call you too. So I wouldn't be worried about like not finding out that you just won $1 million in the Publishers Clearinghouse. Jess, thanks for your call. I know. You want to look, but you just can't. All right. Let's see who's up next. Wayne in Orlando, Florida. Hi there, Wayne.
Well, I travel some, but you have convinced my wife that we have to have a separate computer to handle all of our financial tax type paperwork that's not connected in any way to our other computer systems.
Okay.
And what I'm looking for is a strong recommendation. We have a lot of Apple computer within the house, but I'm looking for what a good laptop is that maybe isn't extremely expensive, but will secure what we need.
And so, do you guys feel like that you would fall prey to some type of scam that may be out there?
Well, I'm not going to say yes to that. At the same time, everything on the news you read about is somebody scamming or breaking into the bank or some other financial facility, government facility that gives out pertinent key information.
Yeah, it does seem like that, doesn't it? It's kind of crazy. There's a couple of thoughts. Number one is you could find a used Apple laptop, but boy, that's going to cost you $1,000. Definitely not inexpensive as you said that you'd like. What we can look at is either a beefed up Chromebook, but at that price, you might as well just buy a nice Dell laptop. You can pick up a 15-inch Dell with a nice Intel processor, or, of course, has all the bells and whistles with Windows 11. And then you're going to pair that with some good internet security software like Total AV and Protect with Kim. And it's probably going to run you about $400. Does that sound realistic?
Well, that sounds better than a used Apple.
Yeah, I think so too. Because then you're looking at a used Apple, which, they last a long time. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes time to, really have that extra computer. And the whole thought behind the extra computer is that if you click the wrong link or if you go to the wrong place, that all of a sudden it just doesn't open up everything. It's the way we have it set up here at everybody who does all the financial records here at the studio. So hang on the line, Wayne. We'll send you a link to this Dell computer. And thanks for your call. If you do need that internet security software like you do for that Windows machine, make sure you head over to protectwithkim.com. Once again, that's protectwithkim.com. It's like $19 for the first year. Again, that's protectwithkim.com. Oh, Wayne, be sure that you tell your wife I said a big hello and thank you, and that she is just so smart. She's not only smart for listening to me every single day, like you said, but she's super smart because, Wayne, she married you. That's right. All right, let's go ahead and pass along a great tip. More and more Americans are just using buy now, pay later. They've got the names like Klarna, Affirm, and even Apple will spread the cost of what you're buying to smaller chunks that you can pay over a few weeks or even months. It's kind of like the modern old school layaway plan. Now, in 2023, it's going to be so much higher this year. 88 million people used BNPL. That's buy now, pay later on their purchases. So is it the right choice? Is it the best choice for you? Yeah, making smaller payments can make larger purchases just kind of feel more manageable. And this is certainly an option if you don't have any credit cards and you can't get credit. But here's the deal that you have to know. Buy now, pay later, these apps and these services are not regulated like credit cards, at least not yet. You want to check the fine print for sky-high interest rates. I mean, I did some research and I found some fees up to 36%. Oh my gosh. Or even 25%. Now, Apple just announced that they're going to be reporting their buy now, pay later purchases, so it actually shows up on your credit report. So once Apple does it, the other ones are sure to follow. So you just have to remember, if you can't afford it now, you probably just can't afford it later. So I know it's so tempting because wherever you check out, it says, oh, do you want to split this into equal payments? And you're like, yes, that would be fabulous. Just say no. Hey, speaking of, you might be wondering, what happens if you don't pay? What happens if you don't pay? Well, of course, now I mentioned it's going to go on your credit report. Apple has said publicly that if you use their buy now purchase plan and you just don't pay, that you'll never, ever, ever be offered it again. That's just the bottom line. Because it's kind of like instant credit, really. Just because as soon as you say buy now, pay later, nobody's going to run a credit report. Well, not yet. This is all changing so quickly. All right, still to come, we have some tips on how to use your phone to identify birds. Because it's springtime, you're going to love this. And of course, we have more of your great phone calls and more of me, Kim Komando, and some great tips that you never want to miss. You're on The Kim Komando Show.
You love podcasts, the stories, the laughs, the unexpected turns. But when this episode ends, the silence starts. Not anymore. Audiobooks.com turns that silence into your next great adventure. With over 450,000 titles, from bestsellers to hidden gems, your love for listening just found its new best friend. And because you already know the joy of audio, we're giving you 3 free audiobooks to start your journey. Imagine your favorite podcast, now with unlimited episodes. That's audiobooks.com. Keep the story going. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. Because for podcast lovers like you, the end of an episode is just the beginning. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.
Hey, in case there's ever an emergency, you need to know certain voice commands, not just for you, but for members of your family and also your circle of friends. I'm going to be passing some things along because I know you're that super smart person in your family. So I want to make sure that you know all these commands and you can also spread the word. All right, before we go back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about your home on Google Maps, because anyone with a phone or computer can actually see where you live. I mean, with an address in Google, it just takes a second to scope it out, right? Now, what if you don't want this? Well, here's a security pro tip to secure your home from cyber creeps. You know, Google Maps Street View, I love it. It's great when you're lost, or maybe you just want to hunt down a building or a gas station, but it also has a privacy liability. Here's the reason why. Thieves and stalkers can peek outside your house remotely with its 360 cameras. They don't even get out of their house. They don't have to get it out of their cars. So there's a little known trick you need to know. You can actually blur the photo of your home in Google Street View. Here's how. You want to go to this special address, maps.google.com. Once again, that's maps.google.com. And you want to put in your address in the search bar and press enter. And then that's where you're going to see Street View. Now, here's where you need to look. At the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see a little box that says report a problem. It's really, really small, not by accident, trust me, but it's there. So another screen is pop-ups. And then that's where you can request to blur your house. You can also adjust the size of the image to fit anything else that you like out of Street View. So like just a couple of seconds, you might get your privacy back. Might. Not 100% sure, but you can do it. Once again, that address is maps.google.com. And then in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, tap report a problem, and then just go ahead and follow the prompts from there. All right, moments away from another great tip you don't want to miss. But let's see, Bernie in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin. Hi there, Bernie.
Well, thank you very much. The weather here is not quite as warm as what it is where you are, but it will be spring tomorrow, they say, but we have snow coming on Friday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I just want you to know I enjoy reading your newsletter every morning, and I always find at least something that gets me to go look at my accounts and my equipment just to check things over a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Bernie. Thanks for those kind words. What's going on?
Well, back around Thanksgiving time, we had both our credit card and our debit card get compromised. And once we got all that settled with the bank and the credit card issuer and all that, decided it was time to maybe look at security. So resetting passwords, setting up the two-factor verification, and so on. Now, back in the days when I had maybe only a dozen different sites that I looked at, yeah, it was probably a naughty thing to do to have the same password for all of them, but I've changed that. And one of the things I've noticed as I'm working on passwords is when you want to change them, that Google sets up a little thing of suggested passwords.
Sure.
And, they're always a big jumble with capitals and small case letters, numbers, symbols, and whatever. And I'm just wondering if those are okay to use.
Sure. I actually think it's a good idea to use those. I use whenever Apple generates a password for me, I do that myself because it does come up with a whole mishmash of characters, doesn't it? It's like numbers, upper, lower case, hyphens, and, gang signs, whatever it may be in there. You're like, whoa. And it makes it really difficult for brute force attacks in order to kind of crack that password. And it also makes every password unique for every single account, which is, the fundamental security right now. And it's automatically saved into your password manager, Google's password manager, or the iCloud keychain, which does encrypt it. It gives it accessibility across all your devices. And so you might be saying like, okay, so what's the downside to this, right? What's the downside? Yeah. The downside is that you're relying on one ecosystem. So if you ever switch from Google, if you ever switch from Apple, is that you're like kind of out of luck because you have all your passwords saved, right? I mean,
Yeah, true.
So you're going to have to redo all the passwords, and then that's why it's advisable to use a password manager. We have a brand new sponsor called Keeper Security, and it's a darn good. It's only like $1.50 a month or something like that, and it generates passwords for you, gives you those master passwords, and also it becomes an easy way too when you want to share a password, maybe maybe even mention like where your passwords are in an estate type of plan and good things like that. So if you feel comfortable using Google, you're going to stick with them forever, then, I don't see any problem with that. But if you're looking for more flexibility, more choice, don't want to be tied to big tech, head over to keepersecurity.com/Kim. Great password manager for business as well as family and single use. And again, they're giving a great deal. It's like 50% off. Bernie, thanks for your kind words about the newsletter. If you're not already getting it, make sure that you sign up now over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right. Is your daily walk getting a little bit boring? And it's springtime and you hear all the birds. It's been estimated there are over 10,000 different bird species, each with their unique sound. So in case you're sitting there walking around saying, like, I wonder what kind of bird that is. I mean, they have different calls for everything that they do. I don't know if you know this, like, where they're located, what time of day it is, even when they're, doing the wild thing. But thanks to modern technology, there's a great free app that helps you identify different bird species through a picture or through their chirps only. It's called Merlin Bird ID. It's from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Merlin Bird ID. Once again, Merlin Bird ID. With it on your phone, you identify birds by answering a few simple questions, snapping a photo, or maybe just recording a bird sound, and then you get real-time suggestions. It's actually a lot of fun. And so if you have never tried this, put it on your phone, your device, just, give it a shot. Again, it's Merlin Bird ID. All right, still to come, we have some more of your phone calls, as well as a really important tip at the end about voice commands that you need to memorize just in case of emergencies here on the Kim Komando Show. So, do you want $500? I want to give you $500. Yes, that's it. I'm just going to give you $500. So how do you get this $500? You just have to go to one place, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. And that's where you enter to win this $500 Amazon gift card. So you might be sitting there saying, oh, come on, Kim, there must be some big gotcha. It's not a big gotcha. You just get one issue of my free newsletter. That's it. In your email box. That's all. Not going to sell, lease, distribute your email address to anybody ever, by the way. And if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. I make it that easy. It's one click to unsubscribe. So again, where do you go? Winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. That's where you can enter to win a $500 Amazon gift card. Let me tell you, you should do it right now because everybody can use $500, right? Yes. Winfromkim.com. All right, back to the phones we go with Marty in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi there, Marty.
Oh, I got hacked back in December of last year on Facebook,
okay.
And he got all my info. He got my password and everything, and he used my account on my profile to reach out to any friends that I couldn't get in contact with at the time. And he's trying to scam them. And I'm trying to get this account deleted and don't know how to go about doing it. Facebook itself has really been no help to me.
Oh, my gosh. Say that's not true, Marty. Really? The company that cares about every single one of their customers? That one?
Yeah, that's the one.
So how do you think you got hacked?
Oh, I walked into it.
Well, tell me.
I had a senior moment. We were at a party, and we were in the middle of judging a contest, and I got a instant messenger text from a friend of mine that I've known for years, asking me to help him out. He was stuck, and he needed some codes to get back online. I didn't think anything of it, and I gave him the keys to the front door, and then I realized that I was hacked, and it was too late. He'd already changed my password and changed my profile, so that was on me. That's never happened before, and it's humiliating to think that I walked into that.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, I'm glad that you admitted it. sometimes I ask people the question like, "Oh, Kim, I have no idea how that happened." I'm like, yeah. But you know what?
I walked into that.
So everybody, you need to be careful. Stop giving out some codes, okay? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I'm sure you already went to the Facebook page and said, I've been hacked, right?
Right.
Okay. And if that didn't do the magical trick, then what you need to do is invite your family members and friends to report your page. And the more people that you can report it as fake and impersonating, that's the more attention that you're going to get from Facebook. Unfortunately, you know, it always astounds me that we have this major corporation here in the United States, headquartered in the U.S. And of course, they have customers all around the world, and I get that. But from this major corporation, a public company, that we as a society have accepted the fact that we cannot get help from them. Okay. Even though they profit from us, even though they sell our data, they start feeding us more data and everything along the way. For some reason, we think like, oh, it's a tech company. Why should they actually have a phone number? Why should they have a phone number? Okay. I mean, imagine if that was the airlines. Could you?
Oh, my gosh.
They would go ballistic. What do you mean I can't call American or United Airlines? Nope. You got to fill out a form and fill out that form and just sit and wait for somebody to maybe by the luck of God respond to you. It just doesn't work. The other thing that you can do, Marty, is go over to Facebook's social media account, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and complain over there. I have a link that we're going to send you. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm sorry that you have to go through all this. I'm going to put you on hold. And then when I do, Amber's going to give you a link that you can share with your family members and friends about how they can report your account as hacked.
That's great.
So, Marty, thanks for your call today. So many emails I get from people having your Facebook pages hacked. So don't be Marty. Be smarter than Marty. All right, let's see who's next. Gary in Ocean City, New Jersey. Yeah, for where I grew up. Hi there, Gary.
Hey, here's the situation. My wife and I are both retired. We have a grandson and a great-grandson down in North Carolina, and we visit them occasionally. And I got out we normally do a straight-through drive. It's about 11 hours, but now we're both retired. I said to my wife, let's take 2 days, and we always do take the scenic route, but it's not real scenic when you're rushing like that. So I decided to take 2 days this time on the way down, and I got out Google Maps, and I set it for, fastest, and it takes me straight down Route I-81 through Virginia to North Carolina.
Okay.
I switch it over to the shortest distance, and it takes me down I-81 straight through Virginia into North Carolina. I went the scenic route. Skyline Drive, Blue Ridge Parkway, take our time, nice time of the year to do it. And I try to drag the map over, but
wants to
Skyline
keep going.
Drive and it's like all over the place, and your hand slips a little bit, and then you're on some other road, and it loops you around in big circles. And
all right, well, here's how we need to fix this. Okay, Gary, I know what you're talking about. And I'm going to send you a link exactly on how to do this. Okay. You're going to use Google Maps, but you're going to set specific waypoints. And so that this way you're going to tell Google Maps, these are the places where I want to stop. Okay. So you add multiple stops, even if they're not places that you necessarily want to visit. You're just going to put the stops along the way. So this way it's going to force Google Maps to stick to the way that you want to go and not the way that it wants you to go. Get my drift?
Get it. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to send you a link how to do that. Now, there's also, since you guys like to take scenic road trips, there's also a website. I'm going to put it into our free newsletter. It's, I just ran across it not too long ago the other day. It's myscenicdrives.com. Once again, that's myscenicdrives.com. It doesn't offer the level of detail, say, of Google Maps, but it does offer a whole bunch of scenic drives. Maybe you guys will find some new routes to kind of check out. And speaking of, just along the same note, is that there's a GPS called, it's Gaia, G-A-I-A, that if you are into off-roading and hiking, you definitely ought to check this out. It's Gaia GPS. So anyway, back to Google Maps. You're going to set the different waypoints. You're going to force Google Maps to stop where you want it to stop. So that this way you are in charge. It's not in charge. And again, hang on the line, Gary. We're going to send you a link there. Amber can give that to you as far as how to set this up yourself. And appreciate you getting on the air with us today. See, here's the deal. I mean, everybody knows about Google Maps, but you wouldn't know about these waypoints or how to actually do this without me in your life. And that's why I'm here. By the way, if you ever have a question for me and you're not just too shy to come on the show, or maybe you're just too busy, you think about it during the week, you can always drop me your questions over on the website. That's commando.com, of course, KOMANDO.com. There's a big old link that says Email Kim right at the top. And so if you click that, fill out that form, I read every single note. Yes, every single note that you send me there. Again, that's commando.com with a K, of course, and hit that link that says Email Kim. All right, let's just face it. It's a situation that no one wants to be in. You're caught in an emergency. You can't move, but you need help. Okay. I don't want you to give up. Just remember, you have a superhero right in your pocket. It's your smartphone. And even if it's not in your pocket, you can still do these tricks. Okay. Because your phone is equipped with not just great, but downright crucial life-saving features. Now, let's tackle that emergency scenario again. So you can't reach out, you can't dial a number. So what are you going to do? What could you do? Think about it. What are you going to do? The answer is that you're going to call your smart assistant, whether it's Siri or Google Assistant or even Alexa, because they're right there ready for action. Just activate them with their wake words and follow by a request to call emergency services. You could also say, where's the nearest hospital? Find the hospitals near me. You can also tell your smart assistant to call somebody else, right? If you're in a dark room, you could tell your smart assistant to turn on the flashlight so that when emergency services gets to your house, that they can see a flashlight because they know that's where you're located. And every second counts. So it can also share your location and your whereabouts. So just remember that the smart assistant is voice activated, and you can always use that. Hey, just a quick reminder to sign up for that $500 Amazon gift card at winfromkim.com. Hey, thanks for listening. Just a reminder, you can get this hour as well as all 3 hours of the Kim Komando Show. For Team Apple, you want to head over to Apple Podcasts and search for Kim Komando Show and then hit the big old subscribe button. Now, if you're on Team Android, listen as part of the Komando community and just head over to community.komando.com. That's community.komando.com. And thanks for being here.